Hello everyone. One more new lesson. Today's lesson is about actions and methods. Actions and methods. Last time we were talking about the form. We created a form, the login form, and we learned how to create those boxes, the username and things like that, and the password. But the question is, what's going to happen when you input some values here? So let's say I'm going to put here John Smith and 123, and then I hit the login. See, the information is gone. Where this information is going to go? So this is basically the title for today's lesson, where this information is going to go. To answer this question, actually, this is going to go to the back-end programmer. What does that mean, the back-end programmer? Every site consists of a front end and a back end. Front end and a back end. And you always hear this online, the front end developer, the back end developer, or the front end programmer, and the back end. What does that mean, front end and back end? Okay, the front end, guys, this is where you design your website. Like when you create it, you see these labels, the login form, that's the title, and a couple of input boxes, the username and a password, and a submit button. You do the design, the background, the color using CSS, and then you do the actions and the programming portion of it using the JavaScript. All of that happen in the front end, But the back end, actually, this is well, it's kind of complicated. By the way, today's lesson is more advanced than any other lesson, and you don't need to understand completely everything. I just want to give you an idea what's going on. So don't focus on details. So when you input the information here, username and password, that's all what I want you to know. When you input the information and you click submit, that's going to go to the back end. So the back end programmer needs to tell you where he wants this information is going to go, like specifying a page or a location or something. So let's say the back end programmer is going to tell you, I want you, when you click submit, I want you to send this information to a test.php. It's going to create a page over here called test.php, and then I want you to send this information to that. So basically, when you click on submit, that's going to go to the test.php, and it's going to be captured in two different fields: user password. You call it whatever you want to call it. So we want to know how this is going to happen, over here. We need to know how in HTML, when we use the HTML, how this is going to happen. We want to transfer all the information from the username and the password in the front end and goes to the back end. So it's so important to know how this is going to happen. To do this, okay, let me just close all of that so we can do this on HTML document so you can see what's happening here. So you can see here I want you to focus on the URL. Here is my index.html, the last thing, the index.html over here, and the information that we entered here, and then we entered the password, we click login, and nothing happens. So we need to know how to capture this information. The first thing you need to do is in the form tag. On the form tag, you create the action, you put the action attribute, and you specify the location or the page that you want. We said we were going to call it test, just any name, test.php. So test.php. By doing so, then I'm going to save and reload here. By doing so, you are telling the user, I want you to send the information to that page. Since we don't have that page created yet, so we're going to get an error. But I want you to see something. Let's try this. So I'm going to go over here, John Smith, then I put 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? Then what I'm going to do now, I'm going, let me just make it big so you can focus on that. So when I click, let me reload here. Okay, I'm going to click on login. I want you to look at this. I want you to look at this on the top here, the URL when I click login. See? Login. See here, the query says test.php. I'm getting an error because I did not create a test.php yet. That's why we're getting an error. That's why we're getting an error. Okay, let me go back again. And let me just make it small again. So this is what happened when you do the action. So having PHP here, test PHP, or not even having the attribute action, and let me see, save, and over here, where the information is going to go. Actually, the information is going to redirect it to the same exact page because we don't specify anything. So when you put here this information, John Smith 123, and you hit the login, it's reloaded and it goes back to the same exact page. So what I want now, I want to send this information. So to do that, over here in the input username and the input password, we need to capture this information. We need to capture because it's so important to capture the information in two different fields like user and password or X and Y. You call it whatever you want to call it. We want to capture this information. To do that, you need to specify here or use the attribute name. You just say name and you specify a name. I can put X, I can put Y, but I'm going to call it just a logic name. So let's say I'll call it username. And over here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put the name, and I'm going to use it password. I'm going to call it password. You just give it any name you want. So a password. So I have username and a password. So now when I click over here, when I click over, let's do that. So let me save here. It is saved, or did I save it? Yeah, I think I did. But just then I'm gonna go over here and reload to make sure it's reloaded. Now I'm gonna put information here. So let me put some information here. I'm gonna put Tom as a user, and I'm gonna put 222, Tom 222. And what I'm gonna do now, I'm going to just make it bigger here so you guys see. I'm going to click on login. I want you to see what's going to happen here when I click on login. You notice here on the top after index.html it says username get Tom and password get 222. To see this here in a better way, what I can do, I can just right click over here and inspect, and then we go to the network, and then you reload the page. And you notice here index.html, you notice here index.html, and it has the username get Tom and the password get 222. Or you can just click on here and you see here username get this and you get the payload. So let me just close that and go back again to this screen. So this information now, when you enter, it goes to the back-end programmer. But that's not good. Why it's not good? Because if you are putting a password and a username, you don't want people to see it. You want to be, these are very private information, so that's not good. So for security reasons, that's not good. So we need to do something to control the appearance of that on the URL. So we don't want to see it on the URL here. So you don't want this to happen. You don't want to see the username Tom and the password 222. We don't want to see that. So it's very private information. What we can do to protect the user from this, the way you do it, if you go back again here to the index.html, so let me just make it big a little bit. Over here on the form tag, I'm going to add an attribute called method. The method attribute. We have three different type of methods: the dialog and the get and the post. Forget about the dialog now. This is like very complicated, and we're going to learn it when we start doing the JavaScript. But we're going to focus on post and get. The get, actually, if you have the get or not having, that's the default. And this is actually when you do the search, you're searching for a term or something, and you're going to see it on the query string here. It's not a big deal. But for information like username and a password, it's a big deal. So we need to have it hidden. We don't want people to see it. So you are going to use the post over here. You just say method post, and then let me just, I'm going to here save, and let me just do this here. Reload, and let's see what's going to happen when I do this using the post information. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to put some information here, maybe Tom again, or John. I'm going to put John, and I'm going to, for the password, I'm going to put 444. Then I'm going to click login. Okay, wait a minute, it's not working. It's still showing the previous. Okay, continue here. Let's open the file again. So this way we're gonna open the fresh screen. Like open the file again. Open file again. I'm gonna put this, and then I'm gonna open it again. So now I'm gonna put the information here. Maybe any information 333. Oh, and over here let me just put Tommy 333. When I click login, you don't see anything over here. Well, we click login, we enter Tommy 333, but we don't see it. To see it in a better way, just go inspect. I'm going to go inspect here as I did before, and then I'm going to go to network, and I'm going to reload the page. Here is the index, and you can see here username and a password, Tommy and 333. So let's have this. Okay, half screen way, and then we can do this again here. Let me change it to maybe a different name, Kathy, and I'm gonna put here 4444. Then I'm gonna click login, and then I will reload here. You see now it's Kathy 444, and at the same time you don't see the information on the index, I'm sorry, in the URL. So now by using the post, you are protecting the information, or the controlling the information from to be visible or invisible. So basically the post. But if you can use the get if you are searching for a term or terminology or certain things. That's okay to use the get. And actually, if you don't use anything, that's the default is get. So that's basically what's happening, or the communication between the front end and the back end. And that's all what I want you to know. There is much more than that, but it's kind of complicated, and we'll learn more when we start working with the back end. But this is all what I want you to know at this specific point of time. So I will see you guys next lesson. See you.